bad week of fights. I mean, I felt like I got robbed in a couple of them. Got another. I got UFC 272 this week. Covington versus Masvidal. Got 13 fights. I'm gonna go over the Makachev card real quick. I got Wellington Turman wrong. I mean, Misha looked like he was winning up until he got armbarred. Priscilla Cachoeira versus Ji Young Kim. I had Ji Young Kim. I mean, I had her winning even after the fight was done. Armin Petrosian versus Gregory Rodriguez. I also had Gregory winning. It was a split decision. Um, but that one, when you look at the stats, Armin did. Uh, he doubled the amount of strikes Gregory took, so I can see why they gave it to him. Terrence McKinney versus Fares Ziam. Uh, that was a straight up loss. Terrence went out there and choked out Ferris. There was no robbery from the judges on this one. And the very first fight, Carlos Hernandez versus Victor Altamirano. I had Victor winning that fight as well. It was a split decision, a very close fight. But yeah, three of these losses I felt a little bit robbed, and then two of them felt well deserved. But on to the next. This week we got UFC 272 Covington versus Masvidal. Fight start in about 40 minutes, so I'm just gonna go out and just pick these fights. I won't talk for too much. Dustin Jacoby versus Michael Oleksiejczuk. Oh man, Oleksiejczuk. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with Dustin Jacoby. These are both strikers primarily. I think Dustin will have the variety of strikes with the kicks. Michael is more of a boxer. He mainly wants to box, so that's what makes me want to pick Dustin. Dustin will stay at a distance, make Michael have to cut distance and pick him apart with the kicks and the boxing. Michael does have good boxing. He does move his head more than Dustin. Dustin relies on the range and being able to evade strikes using range instead of actual head movement, while Michael is slipping punches constantly and looking to counter. Michael is a good opponent here, but I got Dustin winning this. Ludovic Klein versus Devontae Smith, number 56 versus number 62. Uh, I don't like the loss on Devontae Smith's resume. The loss to Kama Worthy. Jamie Malarkey, another guy on this card, he's decent. His his win over Julian Erosa stands out, but other than that, I don't really see anything else worth noting. Justin James, the Guitar Hero. I mean, he's lost. He's no longer in the UFC. So Ludovic Klein beats Shane Young in his debut, and it was a short notice fight that he misses weight. Well, he didn't miss weight. Oh yeah, he did. He misses weight for this fight. What is this next fight at? 156. I believe he came in at 150 and fights at 145. So this is up a weight class, if I'm right. 145. Yep, and he's fighting at 155 or 150. Weighed in at 156. Yep, fighting at 155. So he is fighting the much bigger man here. And I like what I see out of Devontae. He's quick. He also likes to fight out in range, just like Ludovic. They both are wanting to be technical. Um, but I just think Ludovic's tough. He's shown his toughness. He's been choked out, but he's shown his toughness. And in that first round, I think maybe even the second round, managed to get out of that submission Nate Landwehr was throwing up. It was like a Darce anaconda choke. Um, so I like Ludovic here. I like Ludovic to take the win here. It's gonna be my first dog of the night. Um, So yeah, I'm gonna be picking a little bit here. Next, we got Tim Elliott versus Tagir Ulanbekov. I'm gonna be picking the probably the popular pick here with Tagir, but it is not a fight I would bet on. I don't think I would bet on this fight. Tim Elliott has tons of experience. He likes to grapple as well, which is why I'm picking Tagir. But he's very active. He's got active feet, constant switching of the stances, very active on his back. Maybe not for submissions, but constantly throwing strikes. While Tagir is very low on volume. He goes for control. I mean, Tim Elliott has been controlled before for 9 minutes and 59 seconds. This was a while ago, but he has been controlled. And Tagir in his most recent fight controlled his opponent for 12 minutes and 4 seconds. I don't think he's going to need nearly as much control time. I mean, considering Tim Elliott is going to be active with the strikes, he might need that control time unless he can also land some of his own punches and kicks. But uh, I'm going with Tagir. It's a very the odds don't justify the pick, to be honest. Minus 235. This is definitely feels like a trap type of a fight. But Tagir is he's the young prospect going up under Khabib Nurmagomedov. Um, I just think this is his fight to win. Tim Elliott's to lose. So I got Tagir here. And just Tim Elliott gets a little wild with his punches as well. He just looks like he's trying to throw a javelin into outer space. And Tagir's strikes are a little tighter, straight down the pipe. So I like what I see out of Tagir. I just wish he would show more. He would do it more. He would strike more. He could be a little faster. He's a little on the slow side, but yeah, I got Tagir winning. On to the next fight. We got Umar Nurmagomedov versus Brian Kelleher. I mean, you got to go with Umar here. He's going to be the bigger fighter out of the two. He's going to have the kicks, versatile with his striking. Um, Kicks out on all levels. Is a long range striker, and then if the fight gets up close, he's an amazing wrestler. He goes for the back, um, very slick, explosive takedowns. He does have hands down defense. It's very fast. Once he goes for that back, even if the opponent tries to get up, he would just backpack them and drag them back down, just drown them. It's like they're in quicksand. Very good feints. Stays active on his feet. Backs in and out of the pocket to lure his opponents into overcommitting and then changing levels and taking them down. It makes his opponents quit with the constant grappling. He hasn't fought in 1 year, which is the cause to pause. But it seems like a lot of these boys that are with Khabib seem to have that same type of fighting schedule where they fight about once or twice a year. And as far as Brian Kelleher, he's got a good ability to switch stances. Also likes to wrestle. Wants to box. So he's mainly stuck to like boxing. He isn't really gonna be throwing some crazy kick or at any point. And I do see Umar doing that, so he'll be able to control the range a little better. He has tapped to submissions 6 times. And one of his edge to me would be that he just fought less than 2 months ago, so he's going to be used to the speed at which the fight is taken at. So yeah, I'm gonna be going with Umar here. It's just a smart bet. Next fight we got, and I feel way more confident in Umar than Tagir. This definitely feels like it should be a layup for Umar. This feels like a real test for Tagir. So that's why I wouldn't like to bet on this fight, especially at a minus 235. No way, man. Now we got Myrna, Marina Moroz versus Maria Agapova. I mean, you got to go with Agapova here. She called out Marina in her last win, and these are both boxing champs in their own areas. Marina coming out of the Ukraine, Maria coming out of Kazakhstan, I believe. Both of these ladies are pretty young. Marina is 30 years old. Mariah is maybe 25, 24, not even 25. Wow. Born in 97. Hmm. But I like the variety of strikes Mariah has. She's a southpaw, stays on the outside. One of her issues is that sometimes she overcommits and can get taken down, and that is I could see that being a strategy for Marina. She does Mariah does a good job of fighting the submissions. She's a quick starter, so she's ready to go as soon as the horn sounds off. Wants to bully her opponents. Wants a high pace fight, but that could be it's a double edged sword with Maria because Mariah because she has shown to gas out, have that adrenaline dump. So this is a hard fight. She was controlled by Cortez for a long time. That they don't show the stat for that, but it was an incredibly long time. That's how she lost to Tisha. No, not Tisha Torres. No, Cortez, who's very good, 9-1. Uh, she's a was a boxing champ and has finishing ability. So that's a reason I like Mariah here is this her ability to kill these women to finish the job. And well, it seems as though Marina, she hasn't got a finish since 2015. It's been nothing but decisions, win and losses. Just fought another young prospect in Mayra Bueno Silva, who doesn't have the best IQ. I guess similar to Agapova when it comes to fighting. Um, but it looks like UFC's been trying to. Maybe they gave her a little toss up here with Montana, and then they gave her nothing but monsters, and then they gave her Luana Carolina, who I suppose was gonna have the height and reach advantage. But now they got her going against another young, hungry lioness and Mariah Agapova. And you kind of have to lean with her. She hasn't fought in over 2 years. It doesn't make sense to bet on Marina, even if she goes out here and wins. She hasn't fought in 2 years. It's not a it's not a smart bet in my eyes. Even if she is, we'll have we'll be looking for takedowns. Has good pressure. Has she herself has good takedown defense and is mainly looking to box. This is like that Umar versus Brian Kelleher, where it's a fighter with good hands and really good kicks against a fighter who just likes to use the hands. Um, She does go for the win though, Marina. She's hungry for that win, and she goes for it for all 15 minutes. She does not gas out. She goes pedal to the metal. She's a technical fighter. She rips the body quite often. Her lead leg can is open to getting chopped down. She's a smart fighter. She smothers her opponents with volume and able to do it while she's backing up. But yeah, I believe her last fight, she barely threw any punches against. Let's see, let's go UFC stats. Try to make this quick because it's already 2:30. It's already been 15 minutes. I don't know. She threw tons of punches. This lady got volume. So it's a tough fight, but I'm leaning Mariah. Not Mariah. What's some girl's name? Yeah, Mariah Agapova. Based off of her activity, they both fought. Sabina Mariah gets the sub, and not only did she get the sub, she rocked Sabina. Landed a beautiful punch, and then just went for that back mount and choked her out. It's perfect. I'm going with the young lioness here in Maria Agapova. Sorry, Iron Lady, and much love to Ukraine, I guess. Hope that all gets figured out there. And next we got Nick Nugamiranu versus Kennedy Ichukwu. Ooh, both of those are difficult to say. 11-1 versus 9-2. Number 36 versus number 29. Um, Good fight here. Difficult fight to call, but I'm gonna be going with Nick. I just think his toughness is what's gonna get him through this. He's gonna push the pace. Um, Kennedy has done a good job of avoiding getting hit very much. I know that's hard to see considering, but it is also the type of opponents he was fighting before. Carlos Olberg just got knocked out by Dunung Jung. Um, and I can see a similar story here with Nick. Although Nick is very hittable, he uses that toughness, which it's a double-edged sword here. But Kennedy cannot do the same. He cannot use his toughness. He will get knocked out, which is why I'm leaning with Nick here. He's very aggressive, and when he sees that his opponent is hurt, he does a really good job of recognizing that and going for the kill, but not leaving himself too open to a nasty counter. I just see Kennedy wilting here. Nick looks like his mental is top notch, elite. So I'm going with Nick Nagumirano. On to the next. We got Marina Rodriguez versus Xiaonan Yan. Pretty much every single one of these fights is hard, is difficult. They're all pretty tight in the rankings. It's a hard night of fights. Hard night of fights. I think a lot of it is just picking the styles that you prefer over the other. There's a lot of boring fighters on here, and then they're matched up with an exciting fighter, which is Tim Elliott. He's more exciting than Tagir, but he's been controlled, and I can see Tagir having to control Tim. So there's a couple fights like that, but Marina Rodriguez versus Xiaonan Yan. I'm going with my girl, Marina Rodriguez. She's just a beast. But this is going to be a really good fight. Two strikers going head to head. Xiaonan probably has a bit of the grappling edge just because she could go for a takedown. Well, Marina is most definitely gonna keep it on the feet. They both have fought some decent caliber opponents, and Xiaonan, she's only lost to Carla Esparza, you know, so that's she's been doing good in the UFC, and so has Marina also lost to Carla, but yeah, this is the fight I watched, the Tisha Torres fight. I felt like that she'd be a little similar to Xiaonan, but just Xiaonan is bigger. I didn't see a whole lot of kicks out of Xiaonan. If she was a big kicker, I'd be leaning probably in her direction. But since it's going to be a bit of a boxing match, I just prefer Marina here. I Xiaonan does have the tighter hooks, and Marina doesn't really use a jab, while Xiaonan does. It's a hard fight. It's a hard fight, but I like Marina. She's climbing up. She's coming off a win. Xiaonan is coming off a loss, and I think she's about to get her second one. I see Marina climbing to number 4, and very soon being able to compete against the likes of Doug Rose, Wei Li Zhang. Those are not good fights there, and she has a name. She's pretty well known, so I'm going with Marina Rodriguez here. On to the next, Jalene Turner versus Jami Mularkey. It's probably not how you say their names. It's probably Jalen Turner and Jamie Mularkey. Number 52 versus number 38. It's crazy to think that Jamie Mularkey is number 38. I'm a fan of Jamie Mularkey. He's a dog. He just gets in there and wants to fight. He wants to whoop some ass or get his ass whooped. Either way, he's happy. There's a lot of people that, they can give out the beating but can't receive it. And Jamie Mularkey is not that guy. He's just as happy to get his ass whooped as he is to give an ass whooping. Which is why I would love to pick Jamie Mularkey. I would love to pick Jamie Mularkey, but I don't see him being as good as Vicente Luque. And Vicente Luque is the only guy to knock out Jalen Turner, which is why I'm picking Jalen Turner. It's mainly because of that loss to Vicente Luque. I just can't see Jamie beating Jalen Turner like that. I like Jalen Turner's length, and he uses it very well. He's a southpaw. He's got good knees down the middle for when Jamie tries to level change and cut the distance. Um, and if taken to the ground, he's got very good sweeps and he scrambles, has submissions, very athletic. He's fast, a very fast 1-2 counter. He picks his opponents apart from the outside. He's been controlled. He was controlled for like 5 minutes, 7 seconds, but he stopped 9 takedowns in that fight. Good cardio, and he's got the volume edge. He's going to be throwing and throwing all day long, while Jamie is going to be putting the pressure on Jalen and t- making himself very hittable, which he is. He is very hittable. Jamie Malarkey has controlled his opponents in the past. Someone on the likes of Ferris Ziem, who we just saw get choked out, doesn't have the best ground game. Jalen Turner's ground game is way better than Ferris Ziem's. And Jamie Malarkey relies a lot on his toughness. He uses his toughness to cut the distance. There isn't a whole lot of head movement in there. Tons of forward pressure. Only has 4 submissions. So he would have to throw more volume than Jalen, or put Jalen on his ass a couple times for him to win a decision. He does push the pace, but Jalen has the cardio for it. So my pick is Jalen Turner, and I'm just gonna go on to the next. There's only 20 minutes left. Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy. This is one of the fights where it doesn't matter how much research you do, because Greg Hardy just go out there and punch Sergey in the face and it's over. But that's not what I'm going with. I'm picking Sergey Spivak here. He's just the more well-rounded fighter. His last loss was to Tom Aspinall, beast. You he's beat a big puncher in Tai Tuivasa. The money is on Greg Hardy though. He's pretty decent. Hasn't really beat anybody worth naming. So yeah, I'm going with Sergey here for him to stay in the top 15. Let's keep it nice and simple. On to the next. We got Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira. Uh, I think we might see a Kevin Holland submission here. I think we might see Kevin Holland submit Alex Oliveira. He was talking about potentially going, you know, to the ground with Alex Oliveira, which usually that's not something you'd want to hear coming from the mouth of Kevin Holland, but he's been working on his ground game, so I'm actually excited to see what he can do on the ground. As we all know, he's a good puncher, he's a good striker. He could very well destroy Alex Oliveira on the feet. But that's where you let him be comfortable, I believe. That's where Cowboy is comfortable. That's where he could land a big punch, put Kevin on his ass, which we have seen happen to him with a headbutt, but it's happened. So I like Kevin Holland here to take the W. He's going to be the lengthier. He's going to have the same amount of power, and he's been working on his ground game. So I like Kevin Holland here to take the W. Now we got Edson Barbosa versus Bryce Mitchell. I'm going to be picking Bryce Mitchell here. Edson Barbosa is a killer, though. He could very easily throw up a flying knee at any point and put Bryce Mitchell in the ER. But I'm going to be going with Bryce Mitchell here. I think he'll have more than enough control time against Barbosa. Um, see, how long was Barbosa controlled in this? Well, he's been controlled before, not for very long. I believe maybe like 4 minutes or 2 minutes, somewhere in between the two. And I think Bryce Mitchell could definitely control Edson Barbosa for that long. Barbosa has fought some of the best wrestlers, so maybe not the best wrestlers, but Khabib, Kevin Lee, Beneil. Got choked out by Donald Cerrone. That makes me feel like this is he has a he has an issue when it comes to grapplers or people or fighters that are capable of mixing it up, but are leaning on their grappling skills to beat Edson. So I'm picking Bryce Mitchell here to get the W, to have put the pressure on Edson, not allow him to use his kicks very much, and make him hesitate to throw kicks, which is part of Barbosa's biggest way to win. So I'm picking Bryce Mitchell here. Rafael dos Anjos versus Renato Moicano. But before I continue on the Moicano Anjos fight, this is a big fight for Bryce Mitchell for sure. I don't think we'll get to see a whole lot of the improved striking and because if it does, he'll more than likely get knocked out. But yeah, once he gets to the ground, we'll see some slightly improved striking, a couple strikes here and there. There won't be too much volume. I don't expect there to be too much volume, but relentless wrestling coming out of Bryce Mitchell. Rafael dos Anjos versus Renato Moicano. I'm going to be picking Renato Moicano. I just think he's the bigger fighter out of the two. Rafael seems like he's having issues with these bigger fighters in this weight class. His last win was against a basically retired Paul Felder. Um, what weight class was that at? 155. He's fighting at 155, and he fought Kevin Lee at 155. I don't think so. 170. Wow, this guy was a 170. This guy is so short though. 5'8". I believe Renato is close to 6 feet. Oh, I did not know. This guy was he's been going up and down for many years. Well, I'm sticking with Renato here. He just fought. RDA hasn't fought in like 16 months or something crazy like that, and he fought Paul Felder. I'm not saying Paul Felder sucks. It's just Paul Felder was, one foot in, 1 foot out. Was already talking retirement. So I just, I like Renato here, especially after his last win. But the only thing that worries me is that it's 5 rounds, and I'm sure it worries a lot of people. But I think it'll get done within the 5 round mark. Although it is hard to beat Rafael by finish. He's out here getting triangle chokes. I mean, he could just triangle. He could be the one getting the submission. Maybe that'd be a good hedge here. Submission by Rafael dos Anjos, but I'm liking what I see out of Renato Moicano right now. These guys losing the really good strikers. Jose Aldo, Korean Zombie, Rafael Fiziev, really good strikers. Really good strikers. And I don't see this being a moment that's too big for Renato. He's fought champs in the past, maybe even a future champion Rafael. So I'm picking Moicano here. And then for the last fight, Colby Covington versus George Masvidal. This is a hard fight to pick just because I'm a big Masvidal fan. I'm a fan of Masvidal, so this is probably where you stop listening to my video because I'm gonna pick George Masvidal. I mean, similar to this Moicano fight, if Masvidal once it gets to those later rounds, that's when I see him getting control on the ground. Otherwise, I see him getting up from these takedowns. I see it wearing on Colby Covington. Although this is how he likes to fight. He doesn't necessarily want to hold his opponents down. He likes just letting them work back up and then dragging them back down. The safe bet here would be Colby, but I'm a degenerate gambler sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. This isn't a card I'm thinking about betting on heavily, considering how close a lot of these fights are. I'm pretty biased towards some fighters, so I like George Masvidal here. I think he gets the upset. Yeah, just think his striking is going to be too good, and I think his wrestling defense is going to be good enough. And I think the real battle is going to be on the cardio, and just Kobe will have the better cardio, so maybe that's the pick y'all should go with. I'm sticking with my boy George Masvidal though, game bread. And those are all my picks. Just start with from the top. Masvidal, Moicano, Bryce Mitchell, Kevin Holland, Sergey Spivak, Jalin Turner, Marina Rodriguez, Nick Negumeranu, Maria Agapova, Umar Nurmagomedov, Tagir Ulanbekov, Ludovic Klein, and Dustin Jacoby. One more time from the bottom. Dustin Jacoby, Ludovic Klein, Tagir Ulanbekov, Umar Nurmagomedov, Maria Agapova, Nick Negumuranu, Marina Rodriguez, Jalin Turner, Sergey Spivak, Kevin Holland, Bryce Mitchell, Renato Moicano, and George Masvidal. If I had to leave out any fights, I'd leave out obviously the George Masvidal fight. This Tim Elliott Tagir fight. Maybe this Spivak fight. Feel pretty confident in the rest. And what? This is Champ Focus. I'm Gambino. And let's try to get these fucking fights right. I'm out of here.